All right, we talked about it off the top. Let's go back to it. Kyrie Irving, before the season, wanted a trade from Brooklyn. He wanted out. And then he made news. You remember, he made news. He said, well, I'm going to do the courageous thing. I'm going to opt in to my, $34, $35, $40 million contract. I'm going to opt in. I'm staying in Brooklyn. Same thing, Kevin Durant. Before the season, Kevin Durant said, I want out. And then he wanted back in. So, hey, look, Nat, they were doing fine. They were playing well. It's funny. I'm glad. So you're there with me. I think we're both Nets haters for different reasons. Okay, it's just like full disclosure. We're both haters.
Not a Nets hater.
You're a KD hater. You're a KD hater a little bit. Not to say you KD. You hating on KD a little bit. A little bit.
I am not as high on KD as others, but doesn't make me a hater.
Okay. All right. So it's just funny though. It's funny that we're back here. And damn it, let's find, where's Michael Smith? I want him to zoom in. I want to call Michael Smith. Because he's the opposite, J.A., of what we are. He's the opposite. Oh, he was all about the Nets. Oh, what is this historic offense when they had it all together. Remember, once upon a time they had, I don't know, it was the old days, they had Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant. And they were just going to set the NBA on fire. They're going to be unbelievable. They're going to win multiple championships. They might score 150 points a game. Oh, the offensive rating. And what they won was one playoff series. Oh my God. I love it so much. Anyway, Matt, so homeboy wants to be traded. What do you make of this trade request from Kyrie?
I mean, it's hilarious to me. And I feel like if you followed Kyrie and just his journey throughout his NBA career, I don't think it really shocks anybody. It's amazing to me how remarkable it is that he has the ability to just pull these things that, like, the timing just is always, I guess at any point Kyrie Irving requests a trade, it's going to be news. But I mean, when he did it back in Cleveland, it was like everyone thought everything was fine. And all of a sudden out of the blue, Kyrie Irving wants a trade. And then now, I mean, I don't think that we thought everything is fine, but the Nets were playing relatively well. Yes, KD did go down, but they looked like maybe they could at least contend this year. And then boom.
Because Kyrie was holding it down, right? It's not just like, oh, they're hanging in. Like, Kyrie was keeping them in it, especially with his fourth quarter play. And then, boom.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know. He's an interesting character, but look, it makes fun for NBA Twitter talk and the news cycle. So I'm not going to be upset at that.
Yeah, he does.
Is it fun or is it redundant at this point? I mean, do you enjoy each twist and turn of the Kyrie saga, or does it get old to you?
So Nat, the producer, one of the producers for this show, who has to just change things on the drop of a dime. No, I don't love it. But as Nat, who participates in NBA Twitter, I absolutely loved it. I think I tweeted out right away that, oh, great, Lakers fans going to be thirsty all over the timeline now, coming up with trade proposals, for Kyrie. And like a big Lakers account replied to me, like, Warriors fans doing the same thing. Because I mean, the theories are already flying. If Kyrie gets traded, then that leaves room for KD to come back to the Warriors. So it's all kinds of stuff going on. That's NBA Twitter dreaming, but there have been some more reports that have come out already with the teams that are interested.
No, that's a good point. Now, I know. Let's speculate. This is the fun part, and I'll answer your question, Jay. It's fun just to talk about. I mean, it's just to understand or trying to figure out the psyche, the methodology of Kyrie is entertaining to me. And before I make the point of why it's so fun, I just want to point out that Kyrie is a brutal breakup artist. All right, you started saying it, Nat. Told Cleveland, just boom, I'm done. And he asked for a trade, according to David Griffin, their former general manager. He asked for a trade after they won their championship. So they had this great comeback against the Warriors, and he has to be traded after that. And Griffin said, no, hold on. No, and then he had asked. Griffin wasn't surprised. that he has to be traded because that wasn't his first trade request. He had mentioned that earlier.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
So after they won,
that wasn't reported, Michael?
Yeah, it wasn't reported until Griffin started talking about it. Griffin started, sharing some of his insights with Kyrie. Griffin started sharing a lot of stuff that even LeBron was upset. Remember this? He was talking about LeBron, and LeBron was like, "Oh man, I heard what you said about me. I didn't appreciate that." So when Griffin left Cleveland, he started sharing some info that was helpful to us, but not necessarily to the people who played on the team. So break up with Cleveland, pretty harsh. Break up with the Celtics at the altar. Okay, after the engagement. After the engagement, he put a ring on it, said, we got a date. We gonna do this in front of the family and everything. He said, yes, if you have me, I'll come back. Then he was like, no, I'm going to Brooklyn. Brutal. And now, Brooklyn, right before the All-Star break, I made the All-Star team just to show you what I'm about. I'm out. But anyway, do you think is it two parts? Is it not just Kyrie being traded, but if Kyrie's gone, do they move on from KD, Nat and Jay?
I mean, that's a interesting question. Kevin Durant still wants to compete for championships. And I don't see what they're going to get back in a trade. I mean, we would have to see, but that's really going to be able to help them. So one would have to imagine he's going to want to be traded, but I really, truly don't know right now. I think it's too early to tell. I think it's going to depend on what they can potentially get back for Kyrie. And it's going to be limited because he can be, he can walk in free agency.
Here's the thing. I think that's an excellent point, Michael, that, does it mean KD comes on the market? So if you think, or if you even know that this means KD is coming on the market, then why would you use your assets on Kyrie when you can save them to get a trade for Kevin Durant? I'd much rather have Kevin Durant. So I think that this looming potential Kevin Durant hitting the market, I think makes the trade market for Kyrie even worse and lowers the leverage even more than it probably is right now.
Excellent point. Excellent point. It really is. And I'm wondering, let's say it is the Lakers. And we know the Lakers, speaking of limited, their resources are extremely limited. They were able to pick up Hachimura, who's a good addition for them. I'll give it to him. He can shoot. They don't have a lot of guys with great outside shooting. But if you're the Lakers, would you be interested? If you're the Lakers, would you be interested in adding Kyrie Irving to a team that's starting to play a little bit better? I mean, they're not great, but they're starting to play a little bit better lately. Would you guys be interested from the Lakers' perspective?
I wouldn't be interested personally, but yes, the Lakers, to answer your question.
I'm saying, but if you're the Lakers, you think the Lakers would? You think the Lakers would?
I think the Lakers would be interested. I mean, LeBron has already said things that he still wants to compete, right? He's not just here to just be on a team. So he's played with Kyrie before. They've won together, and maybe he thinks with him there, Kyrie can be managed better. I'm not sure, but I certainly think the Lakers will try something to try to go after him.
The question is, do you feel, and this has been floating out there on NBA Twitter, as you know, do the Lakers go all in on this season, or is it better to maybe preserve some assets and make a better move next year, potentially when they're in better position, when they're not, trying to chase a play-in spot as they are right now?
So, to me, the thing that's very interesting about the NBA standings right now is 3 through 12, 13, they're 1 to 2 games apart. So truthfully, if they start winning now, they could still be a 4th seed and have a real spot. So I don't think this season's lost. Just across the board, the team, it's a mid NBA season. And by mid, I just mean people kind of meddling around 500. So it's one of those seasons where I do think you could maybe have the potential, even though it would not be consistent with NBA history, for a team that's kind of started off the way the Lakers did to maybe come back and do something. I don't think they do it with this roster, but if you added someone like a Kyrie, I think they could make that kind of push. And by the way,
Michael,
it should be noted that I am not a Lakers fan. I'm not a Lakers fan. So be clear when I say that. I'm a Warriors fan. Okay.
I'm just saying, Michael, remember when things used to be called parity? Now everything's mid. Why has everything got to be mid now? Everything mid.
I mean, it is
like,
mid.
The NFL used to celebrate this and call it parity. And it was Pete Rozell's dream that there would be parity. Now it's just mid.
No, but this isn't parity. If all the teams were like winning at a higher level, I mean, like everyone's around 500. At least like that's not good basketball. Like you win, you lose, you win, you lose. So that's why I'm saying it's mid. But yeah, I do also think there's more parity. So, you know, I think both things are true, but that's why I'm saying it's mid.
I want to go from like, you know, either or, straddling the fence, 500, could go this way, that way, to something that's definitive. And Natalie, thank me later. I'm gonna throw this oop up and let you just do whatever you want to do with it. You can dunk it. It's just a oop, no look. Your thoughts on Dillon Brooks last night?
No, see, you're trying to get me riled up in front of company, Michael. I'm not going to take the bait. I mean,
this family. This is family. Adande's family. He ain't company. He ain't knock on the door and we ain't like peer through. Like, who is it? He was just like, he tried to come in. He walked in. It's fine.
That's a
Look
great
at your boy,
picture.
Dillon Brooks.
Oh, my boy. Oh my gosh. He is. I just cannot wait for the Grizzlies to lose. That's all I have to say, because now they apparently got 2 All-Stars. JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr. is an All-Star. So I don't want any excuses when they inevitably lose, because there's a bunch of players over there. They just talk. And no, I'm not against talking. I'm not against that. But they talk too much for a team that has done absolutely nothing. And they're goofy. He's goofy. Wow. That was goofy. And it's unfortunate that, you know, he did it to Donovan Mitchell, who can't really react because his team needs him. But if this was like back in the days, you know, when we had players that could like really enforce something, because someone needs to just, you know, do something to Dillon Brooks.
But he did react in the post game, and we're learning things about Donovan Mitchell. So prior to this season, I didn't know, or maybe didn't believe, that he could be a superstar guy who can get you deeper in the playoffs and maybe your team has a right to go. He's shown he can be that guy, at least so far this year. And now he's shown he can be spicy guy with the comments. Like, I haven't heard him stir it up like this, the way he was talking about Dillon Brooks last night, talking about, you know, bust his ass as usual, you know. So
I loved it.
Right.
This has been the Donovan Mitchell revelation season, the tour, as far as I'm concerned. What do you
You're
think?
so right. And you know what?
Are you surprised to see him go
And
there?
I agree. But, you know, I agree with him. The thing he said was, it's unfortunate that Brooks has to do that when he can't guard, when he can't check somebody. This is what he resorts to. And that is so true. That's exactly right. Like, you wouldn't mind a guy who was like a physical player, but is a tough, like, they guard you well and you respect them. But his thing is, if he can't keep up with you, he'll do some dirty shit. That's the problem.
He always does. And he's not the only one. I mean, Brooks, Pat Bev is another one like that. Like, the media loves to hype these guys up like they're actually good defenders, and they're not. They just like annoy you. They do a lot of things that should be called fouls. They make noises and, you know, and then people are like, yeah, they're a good defender. And they're not. Brooks sucks. He gets cooked all the time. And also, I love, though, like in your feed, Michael, you said he's a dirty player. Like, do you think he's a dirty player? Let me ask that question, because NBA players and everyone's so careful, like they don't want to call it dirty. So even last year when he had the play on Gary Payton Jr., right? Or the second, sorry. And it injured him. Like, the Warriors went very carefully to call him everything but dirty, but like they were suggesting he's dirty. And I'm like, he's absolutely a dirty player. And I want to know what you think. Do you think he's a dirty player?
Yeah, you know what? And I'll tell you, like, Nat and J.A., this is like one of these wordsmith things. I struggle with this for like, I went back and forth on the feed for like 20 minutes. The first thing I wrote was, make no mistake, Dillon Brooks is a dirty player. Then I said, well, can I really say he's a dirty player? He plays dirty. I'll say he plays dirty. Call him a dirty player means all that. But I think I and others just overthink it. Yeah, he's a dirty player. I should have put that. I'm going to change it right now on the fly. He's a dirty player. Back to that. He is. And until he stops being a dirty player, like, you know how you have that reputation for a reason. It's not like people are just, are we looking for that? What do basketball fans want? Basketball fans want to see ballers and skill and athleticism and competitiveness. We ain't trying to call you a dirty player, but if you give us reason, we got to call it what it is, and that's what it is. J.A., is that how you see it?
I just don't like to look into the heart or mind of another person or soul.
See,
see,
you're doing the same thing I'm doing. Same thing.
If you're saying dirty, you're getting into the realm of intent, and that's something that I'm not comfortable doing. I remember, for example, Bruce Bowen. People used to say, "Oh, Bruce Bowen's a dirty player." And one game I was sitting basically under the basket at Staples Center, and I'm just watching him, and he was very hands-on. I would use that phrase, you know, he had very active hands, constantly poking, checking you, you know, grabbing you away from the ball. So you can say that.
But he ain't trying to hurt people.
Bowen dirty.
I wouldn't either.
Calling Dylan Brooks.
He wasn't trying to. Dylan Brooks is trying to hurt people.
If your behavior is so reckless that it like leads to stuff like that, and you keep up with the reckless behavior, to me, that's intent. Because like you can't keep doing it. And then I just keep saying, oh, but he didn't intend it. If you keep up the same reckless behavior, you intend it.
Exactly. I don't care about intent. If every time somebody comes around and they're just like a wrecking ball, like, oh, I didn't mean to. I don't care what you meant to do. You keep doing it. So that's who you are. You got to deal with. I can only deal with what you are producing, not what your intent is. Everybody thinks their intent is righteous, or a lot of people think that it is, and it's not necessarily. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.